Now we're going to begin with the Swimming Dragon Body Dao Yin. Okay. This is the body conditioning for Tai Chi. And we're going to begin with just the fundamental actions, which is a series of 4 basic movements created by the turning of the right and left channels. And we're going to do this part only just to get this down into our body. And I want you to be able to practice with it a little bit before we add in the full expression where we're moving that spiral power into the upper body. It's better to develop it first in the lower body, get really solidly connected to the process and how the power is generated before we begin to work on its expression. Okay? So what we're going to be working with is the sense of rotating the right and left channels, starting at the hips. So if we were to rotate in, almost like we're trying to turn our foot inwards, we're not going to turn our feet because our feet are anchored to the ground. They're grounded, they're not going to move. But if we rotate the hip and the power of the leg, as if we're going to, we sink down into it, the sacrum opens up, our weight drops down into the pelvis and into our legs, and everything, the power seems to rotate out and around and down. Okay? Then the other direction we can move is to rotate out. And if we were to rotate that power out, we feel this power move back up and around into the sacrum from the glutes and into the low back. Ultimately, this will create a dragon spine-like movement. And we want it to create a dragon spine-like movement because we're going to create that same spiral and carry it up the back. So as we rotate out, it comes into the hips and up the back. Then we drop it in, rotating back inward, and we come back down. And eventually, you can see how this creates that dragon spine action. And that's one of the things we're looking for. Now at the beginning, you can make larger movements, and you'll see in this video, I'll tend to make a larger movement of the dragon spine so that you can see it clearly. Let me turn to the side so you can see that. So as I rotate in, I sink. As I rotate out, it comes up. You can see that up and down action. Now, we've already done this in the warm-up to a degree, but what we're going to do here is we're going to learn how to apply it into motion into the arms and shoulders. Now, first, there's a couple of different practices of movement we're going to take. The first one is just learning how to roll the joints themselves. And this isn't part of the Swimming Dragon Body Dao Yin form, but this is a Swimming Dragon Body Dao Yin practice. I want you to imagine as if you're holding a sphere, like a small stone. When I say small, you know, a couple of inches around in each hand. Okay? And as you rotate in, you're going to allow yourself to sink and drop, and you want the shoulders then to follow that in. And then as you rotate out, the spine moves up, and naturally the chest lifts, the shoulders naturally want to roll out, and then the palms roll out. Then we're going to roll the wrists as we come back in. And it starts to be a wave-like action that creates a coiling in all the joints. Sequencing can be challenging on this at the beginning for people. Again, let me turn to the side so you can see it. We start with that rotating in, and then we rotate out, and the wrists roll out, and then back in. Now, if you have these weights, eventually, if you have stones like this, eventually you'll start to feel how that strengthens the connective tissue. We'll work with that a little bit more, but I wanted to show that with you as a practice that you can work with, and I definitely want you to practice that. Okay, so turning back to the front, we'll look at that again. Again, I'm exaggerating these movements a little bit so you can see them easily. When I practice on my own, I may not move quite this much. And you don't have to. At the beginning, you may find it easier to actually move this much, to get the whole body working together and the large muscle groups to learn to work with it. And then there's the reverse of that. And this is a coiling again. So now we go inward first and roll back and out. It doesn't look too different, particularly in the body, but it is an emphasis on which one, like whether the internal rotation or the external rotation is emphasized. Here the internal rotation is emphasized, and the other way, the external rotation is emphasized. And that's why it's expressing that way in the arms. Okay? If that confuses you, just play around with it. Try to experiment. Listen to your body. There should be a natural flow to this. Okay? Now, taking it into the Swimming Dragon Body Dao Yin practice. In this practice, what we want to do, there's 4 basic positions that we're going to end up in. Okay? The first one is hands in front of the dantian. Fingers down, almost like we're making a little triangle with our thumb and index finger. Right? One of the things in this Dragon Dao Yin we're going to pay attention to in our body regulation is what's called dragon palm. There's a lot of different expressions of this, but in the Formless Dragon system, the expression we're looking for is the ring finger and middle finger together, are working together. They're not touching, but they're definitely together, whereas the pinky and index finger are separated. Okay? The thumb is also working with the middle finger and ring finger and slightly squeezing, while the index finger and pinky are more extended. Okay? Again, this is not, don't overdo. Don't strive too hard. Everything is alive and lively. There's an activity, an intention, but we want to make it soft and gentle. So that when we begin, we start with our dragon palm. We've got a good Jian Zhuang. Our tongue is lightly touching the roof of the mouth. The breath is moving in and out through the nose, all the way down to the diaphragm. And as we rotate in with the legs, the hands come up to this first position. Okay, let's relax and do that again. We'll rotate, start neutral. Do that rotating power here. I'm exaggerating because I don't want your knees to actually move this much, but I want you to see that rotation. If I didn't anchor my feet, the feet would turn inward like I'm pigeon toeing. Okay? So we get that rotation power of the leg, and let that sink, or let us sink, and the hands rise to the dantian. Now from there, we're going to start the next part. The next one begins with the external rotation of the legs and the power of the hip. From here, we rotate out. That begins to push out and up. So we push up, we feel the power come into the sacrum and low back, and our hands go from here around the waist, palms down. Okay, let's look at those two again. We start with the in, the palms come up, and out, palms go out. Now you should feel this, and you should see a dragon spine during this. And let me see if you can see that. Come in and out. Let me do it from the side so you can see that dragon spine. Come in and out. One more time from the side so you can see the dragon spine. In, we sink, and out. So now we're going to begin and do movement 3. Again, movement 3 will operate a different hand position. We're going to start with the dragon palm, which is what we did at the beginning. We're going to move up through movement 1 and 2 with the hand in the dragon palm position. Then when we move to movement 3, the hand is going to move into the crane's bill position, which is all the fingers coming together evenly on both hands and forming what's called the crane's bill. Okay? Now, we're still working with this coiling action. We've got the feet turning in, or the power of the legs turning all the way down to the feet in. We come up into position 1. We rotate out, let that move up, creating the dragon spine, and move into position 2. Then we rotate inward again. Let the shoulders roll forward, the hands come together into crane's bill, move forward into position 3. Let's look at that again. We'll do that a few times. 1, 2, 3. Again. 1. Dragon palm. 2. Dragon palm. 3. Crane spill. From that position, as you can imagine, we rotate outwards with the legs again. That's going to create that dragon spine movement. When it gets to the shoulders roll back and the arms come back. We want to get a sense and a feeling like we're pushing the back of a silk curtain with the entire back surface of the arm. This isn't a powerful press. It's a silk curtain. It should move easily. It's just this idea that we roll open. We're really trying to get the sense of this shoulder, this pectoralis minor, rolling open and the energy coming back, but rotating down the arm. Again, moving into an open palm position, beginning to suggest that dragon palm as we come back. So we'll look at those in sequence. Rotate in, hands in the dragon palm position, we sink. Rotate out, the dragon spine moves up, palms move out and back. In, we move into the crane spill position of the hands, and out, open, and back. And we can repeat. We move in, position 1, out, position 2, in, position 3, out, position 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can begin to see why this is called swimming dragon body. You're developing a swimming body, a serpentine coiling action that moves through the whole body from feet to hands. Two, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. This time when you're working, I want you to try to feel, we're going to do this a few more times again, a few cycles through, and I want you to try to feel that spiral all the way up the right and left channels, back and forth, and how it twists up and twists down, and twists up and twists down. Okay. Tongue lightly touches the roof of the mouth, central equilibrium, center line, we're breathing into the lower dantian. Remember, calm and relaxed, centered and grounded. Whole and complete, alive and lively. Dragon palm with the hands, and we begin. 1,